Okay. Hello, hi everyone. I'm Yaron Koren. We're going to be talking about recommended revisions. So if you're, I'm going to have to go quickly because there's a lot to go through. If you're a starting MediaWiki administrator, there's a set of questions that you pretty much have to answer no matter what the wiki is and so forth. Which extensions can I use? Because there's, 1,000 or so. Which extensions should I use? Which is, of course, going to be a subset of those. And for those extensions, what version should I use? Sometimes that's obvious because it's bundled in with MediaWiki. Many times it's not. And this is true not just for individual wiki administrators, but also if you're running a wiki farm or you maintain a MediaWiki package, which is, these are quite a bit more obscure occupations, but there certainly are those people. And to a lesser extent, all of that applies to skins as well. So there are complicating factors when making those decisions. Obviously, some extensions are poorly maintained or not poorly maintained or not maintained at all. This is the sad truth about software is every piece of software has bugs. If it's anything more complicated than Hello World, and every version of every extension will have bugs. Some extensions require other extensions, and that might not be obvious when looking at the documentation. Conversely, some extensions don't work well with one another, and in some cases that's not even known until somebody tries running two things at the same time. So how can you find good extensions and skins? Well, you can go on MediaWiki.org and see there's a lot of information there. There's guides like Working with MediaWiki, that's my book, and you can go there. You can read the entire book for free online, but this is a little plug. You can also order it if you want. What happened to?
Minimize the browser.
Oh, okay. There's a site called Wiki Apiary, which is interesting. In theory, it's a great website because it lists for every extension and skin all the sites that use it, and conversely, for every website, it lists all of the extensions it uses. So, for instance, let me click on some random extension. So I knew this would happen. This is a problem with Wiki Apiary. It's extremely slow. I just clicked on a single page for an extension. It's not the website itself that's slow. It's the fact that it's running several large quote-unquote Semantic MediaWiki queries for each extension. And the thing that's large about them is that they have show a lot of fields for each query. Yeah, it is usable. This will eventually load. I'm not necessarily going to wait until it finishes loading. It might take a minute or something. I think they could solve this problem overnight if they just installed Cargo on this wiki and then converted over the queries to use Cargo instead of Semantic MediaWiki. Which is unfortunate, although maybe at the moment it is useful as sort of a cautionary tale about using Semantic MediaWiki if you have a lot of data. I would say if you have anything less than 10,000 pages or so, then you don't really need to worry. Anything more than that, roughly, you will have to start worrying severely about performance. Because it's essentially joining the same table to itself over and over again each time you want to add a new field to your table, which becomes exponentially large. So yeah, cautionary tale, Wiki Apiary. Speaking of extensions, but if you have patience, this will eventually load, and then any page will eventually load, and you can see useful information about that. So that brings us to Canasta. There's the website for it. It's a MediaWiki package. I'm one of the developers of it. You're going to hear a lot more about it in Jeffrey's talk, or if you're watching this in the future, just go to Jeffrey's talk and of course this site. There's a new version that comes out with every LTS, long-term support MediaWiki version. The 143 version hasn't come out yet, but that is coming out soon. And so we have had to deal with the same problem that every other package in Wikifarm and, of course, the individual user has to go through, which is deciding which extensions and skins to include, and then for those, which revisions, which specific version, or maybe even more specifically, exact revision to use. So this is the solution we now have, which is a file called contents.yaml, which is a YAML or YML, I call it YAML, file. This is the top of it, and it keeps going for a long time. This is just a few of the A extensions. And other packages have something similar. Meza has something similar to this, also coincidentally in YAML. So basically, this is the most efficient way to store all of this information for each extension. You have here the list of extensions you're including, and then for each one of them, which revision to use, unless it's bundled in with MediaWiki, in which case you don't have to worry about. And then, in some cases, which branch to use if it's not the default 143 one. And then additional steps you have to run afterwards in order to fully install the extension. Yeah, I think that, I mean, that's, and something like this will only work with a specific MediaWiki version. So hopefully this is pretty, self-explanatory, pretty clear. So that spawned this whole project to do recommended revisions, quote unquote. There's this page on MediaWiki.org, which basically more or less explains what I just explained now, and then it has these pages for different versions. Right now, there's only 139 and 143 because this came from Canasta, and so those are the ones that Canasta has. In theory, anyone else could add additional pages for any additional file, and so if I click on this, you'll see basically the same thing as we saw before there for contents.yaml. It's almost identical. So the hope is that other packages in Wikifarms will start using recommended revisions, and tied in with that, Canasta itself doesn't use recommended revisions, it's just a copy, but the hope is that even starting in the next version, Canasta will use the page directly, so it'll just be a single line like URL equals, and then the recommended revisions page to get all of this stuff out, so it'll be, the proverbial single source of truth, in this case, single source of extension and skin information. So one note about recommended revisions, you should always specify a revision ID. You shouldn't ever just say recommended revisions 143 and get that out. You should instead specify a revision. In MediaWiki, it's called revision numbers. You need that in order to guarantee security and consistency, because it is a wiki, so anyone can go out and make any sort of malicious or bad changes that they want. And that's true. By the way, it's not necessarily because it's on MediaWiki. It could be true if it's a page on GitHub, that sort of thing. It's really important to be able to know exactly what it is that you're getting and keep it consistent. So can this really be a one-size-fits-all thing? Like, can everyone just use recommended revisions and, the 100 whatever extensions that are on there? No, of course not. Just about every package or Wikifarm and most installations will want something different. Even for skins, certainly for extensions, some specific set of extensions that they do or don't want. The YAML syntax supports inheritance, so you can use some of another set. You'll be hearing more about this. Okay, yeah, fine. You'll be hearing more about this in Jeffrey's talk, but you can just basically specify that you're inheriting from another YAML file. So let's say there's some wiki farm that uses recommended revisions but adds 2 extensions to it. Then you have a package and you want yours to look like that wiki farm. You can just have a small looking YAML thing that says inherit from what the wiki farm Y people are doing, but remove these 3 extensions and add this other extension, and they in turn are doing the same thing. And so you can have a chain of things which can get insecure in some ways, but actually no, it won't be insecure if you're always using a specific revision ID. But anyway, it's a lot simpler than starting from scratch. It prevents data duplication, and again, it helps with the standardization, and that's something I didn't really put into this talk, but there's a lot of benefit to everyone using the same versions of extensions and skins in terms of known quantities. There's benefit to having a lot of eyeballs, so to speak, on the same set of software, so that if some issue comes up, it's A, known, and B, something that's addressable, so everyone can switch to some later version that hopefully fixes that bug. Okay, so yeah, it turns out that this YAML listing was the missing ingredient for a web-based installer, which is really great to see. This is a dream the MediaWiki has had, MediaWiki users have had for a long time. WordPress has had this for decades at this point. I don't know if anyone here has administered a WordPress site, but they have a really nice functionality. They just call it plugins instead of extensions. But you can see, you have this interface here. You can see a little bit about each plugin, including ratings and so forth. And then there's a little Install Now button for each one. So you never have to, go into the console, the SSH, and handle all that, figure out the command to run and all that kind of stuff. In theory, MediaWiki could have had this all along. It has been a long time dream. There was actually an attempt to do a Google Summer of Code project to do it in 2010 by Yaron Koren. It would have been the triumphant follow-up to his 2009 project, which created the maps and semantic maps extensions. And you can see there's a page detailing all his layout and the steps required and the things he actually did accomplish. It ended up creating 2 extensions, distribution and deployment. The project ultimately failed, and those 2 extensions are both been abandoned for, since 2011 or whatever it was. The big issue, I believe, is security risks. That extension involved going out to an API to see what are all the available extensions, what are they what's their current status, and that kind of thing. I think that's always a bad idea to try to find them in real time, because the system can be gamed. There's always some way to act maliciously. Or just harmfully in some way. So how do you prevent a harmful extension, whether it's malicious or otherwise, from showing up on everyone's dashboard if they're able to get it? You can get the API or the web scraper or whatever else it is to see it, and then for everyone they're just a click away from downloading and potentially deleting all their files or whatever it is else this code does. I think the solution is to use a trusted resource, and that recommended revisions YAML file fits the need, because there's some level of confidence, because it's public and because people are using it, and because there's eyeballs on it. There's some level of confidence, at least, that those extensions and skins are not going to damage your system at the very least. And hopefully they'll work and so forth. Okay, so this is sort of an announcement. This was publicly announced but at the Wikimedia Hackathon. So 2 weeks ago, there was the Wikimedia Hackathon in Istanbul. This is the photo taken by the three guys I know who were there: Naresh Kumar, Babu, Jayanth, Vikash, Saminathan, and Saminathan, and Sanjay Tyagarajan. And they helpfully lined themselves up in alphabetical order by last name when they took the selfie. I think that was accidental. And there's another fourth guy behind them. I don't know. I think that's another guy at the hackathon that they know. Not involved with this project. They all sort of independently contacted me and asked me if I had any ideas for this hackathon because they wanted to go. So I told them about this idea, and they were all really excited about it. So it was a 3-day hackathon or something. They worked on it. Actually, they started working on it beforehand. They worked on it during those 3 days, and I was talking to them online and so forth. So they created an extension called Springboard, and it's now on MediaWiki.org. Oh, what happened? Oh, there it is. It's there. It's at beta status. Yeah, it exists. It's still in beta. It works. It's got a lot of questionable areas and so forth. But it's certainly there's certainly a lot of work that was put into it, and it makes use of a YAML file for the set of installable extensions and skins. By default, it uses recommended revisions for 143, and it only works by default with MediaWiki 143. But you can supply it with any YAML file you want. Yeah, there it is. You can supply it with any YAML file you want. And so let's do a demo. This is a video that I made. And hopefully this works. It wouldn't do an actual demo. Okay, so this is, I haven't started the video yet, but this is on a website that I run called DiscourseDB, which is a database of political opinions and so forth. But this is, okay, let me start this up. What? Okay. Well, it's a nonpartisan, neutral website. Although nobody's maintaining it at the moment. But anyway, okay. So here we get the page for the Wall Street Journal. I go to edit the source. There's an icon there that would be supplied by CodeMirror if it were there, but it's not. So now here I'm going to the extension sorry, let me pause this. Here I'm going to the page special Springboard, which is defined by this extension. So you can see here there's a list of every extension, all the ones coming from recommended revisions, and then for some of them, wait, hold on. For some of them it knows are there, so it includes an uninstall link, although that shouldn't be there at all. Some of them are there but disabled, not enabled in local settings, so for them they get an enable button, and then some are not there at all and they get an install button. It looks at the system to see what's installed. So here I'm looking for the CodeMirror extension, and here I just click the install button. Now as soon as I did that, it should have changed to uninstall or something, but it didn't do that because it's just a weakness in the extension. But now if I reload Special Springboard, it takes a little while for all the extensions to show up. If I go there again, now the uninstall button is there because it just installed CodeMirror in a few seconds. So now if I go to the special version and reload it, if I look for CodeMirror, there it is, ta-da. It ran the git clone command and installed everything. And now if I reload the edit page for the Wall Street Journal, there you can see the little pencil icon. That's proof that CodeMirror was in fact installed. And if I click on that, then I get the functionality of CodeMirror. So that's it. That's the demo. Yeah. So that's Springboard. I'm really excited about, well, I'm really excited about the Springboard extension. I hope it's in beta, so you know, it's got some awkward spots, but I hope people start using it. And certainly once everything is polished more, that people use it a lot more. I think it could be really useful both for individual wikis and wiki farms and all that kind of stuff. So what does this mean for recommended revisions, besides just being a you know, cool tool on its own? Hopefully there'll be some synergy there and a positive feedback loop. So people start using Springboard, and then hopefully in parallel with that, more packages and wiki farms start using these YAML files. These two are sort of unrelated, but hopefully that both of those will lead to more eyeballs on those files, and then that in turn will lead to improvements to the files. And the real dream is that every MediaWiki version will have its own you know, best practices file, or more than one even, as opposed to just the long-term support ones. It's a fair amount of work when you're dealing with, you know, 100, 150, whatever it is, extensions to really go through and do some validation on each one, on each extension to see how well it works. But it's something that's doable if enough people are looking at all of it. By the way, in a sense, this has already happened. The development and Springboard has led already to more parameters being added to that YAML file, like required extensions and Wikidata ID. This was easy to miss in the demo. It was, well, fine. I won't belabor the point, but it was easy to miss it in the demo. But this display goes out to Wikidata to get the description for each extension. That's coming directly from Wikidata. So it actually, I mean, for 99% of these, the description is only available in English, but in theory, you could have a fully internationalized directory showing for each extension and skin, you know, a little description of it. Yeah, and required extensions is another really useful one. What about governance? Right now it's a wiki, so anyone can edit it and add whatever, you know, noise or helpful edits they want. You know, in theory that's fine. You can just you know, whatever's there before, if you want it to look a certain way, just edit it. Someone else can edit it, you know, 5 minutes later, and it's enough for you to be able to use that specific revision you want. If this thing becomes more popular, and presumably there will be disputes or things where you need some kind of consensus, then hopefully there'll be some kind of mechanisms for decision making, whether it's votes or talk page discussions or whatever it is. But that should be really interesting if and when that happens. And I think that's it. Anyone have any? Oh, thank you.